Hi guys, I thought I'd get on here like I usually do and try to do something quick. I'm still looking for apartments repeatedly. And this is kind of what I did with the work. Women that, I want to show you what I bought at Target yesterday. I bought this cute little short sleeve or tank top type shirt. Very reasonable, and I got this sweater. I wanted the black one, but they didn't have my size, but $9, it's cute. Let me show you the little pockets. So I have these little pockets here, and it goes down. I like things that go a little lower because I'm tall. I'm going to continue to talk about housing because women know with employment, certainly with economic abuse. And again, shout out to Target. Thank you very much. It was a mistake, and I certainly, with everything going on from people, have to, sometimes I can say, well, I got ripped off, but in this case, it wasn't. They were very good about it. So I ended up getting my $20 and I put it towards something else. But, because this is what domestic abusers do, and certainly post-separation abuse. And I've had it throughout my marriage with jobs. So I made looking for a job. And I always basically got either more responsibilities or more money, and I moved ahead with my career. But today I want to talk about some of the housing because I've been making notes. And I was shocked because when you start going through some of this stuff and you know the truth, I want to go through some of the housing. So when we were younger, we moved a lot. And I've talked a little bit about my mother. I'm not going to make this video about her, but suffice to say she does have problems. And this has been throughout my childhood. She repeatedly told me to get out. There's the door. Don't let it hit you in the ass. Just various abusive things throughout my childhood. So, and also in Fort Johnson, she locked me out before I went away to college because all the stuff surrounding college. They bought a house on Chapman Drive. Her and her boyfriend bought a house in Fort Johnson. Then on Chapman Drive, she kicked me out when she lured me home. And then where she is currently, she told the police a bunch of lies and, asked me to leave up there. So this has been an ongoing pattern since I was a child. And often at that time, it was like we couldn't believe that mothers, certainly around here, that mothers could engage in that kind of behavior. And we're starting to look at this a little bit more. But again, I don't want to make this video about her. So there's three homes. And she would often say, I don't want it. Her boyfriend and her had the house in Fort Johnson. She didn't want that. The whole Chapman Drive, that was with my sister-in-law. There was major, major problems with that. And I mentioned how my sister-in-law passed away and where she is currently. She had made this room in the garage and it was just extremely abusive. But I want to get into some of the other rooms in the garage. At the Cernex over on Ridge Road. My mother, I mentioned, Main Street, right in Broad Alban. Right before the summer, these people create all these problems and get me, they're going to call the police, which is part of what they do. Make up stuff about you, scam your security, and then you're trying to look for another place. There was a store in Northville. I moved in, it was an apartment. Turns out it was a store. There was abusive things going on there. Same thing, they're going to call the police on you, make up a bunch of things, scam your security, scam. I was going to buy the propane for the heat, and usually heat, electricity, your water, those kinds of things are usually scams in these situations. I've rented rooms, Mr. Hernandez, next to this Debbie Barnello in the West End where I used to have property. Scott in Maine, where I have family members also. It was a room. I was doing very well. It was a housekeeping job. And I was doing very well, but he caused a lot of trouble. And then there was Vanderveer, Arnold Avenue, and Green Street, which they caused trouble on. And some of these people are involved with law enforcement, so it's very difficult to talk about them because of the nature of the job they do, the power imbalance, and of course we're not supposed to question what the police do, because then you're thought of as anti-law enforcement, which isn't true. Numerous hotels, because that's usually their response, and certainly people that are going through an eviction process will also find themselves, and certainly when they're homeless, they'll find themselves dealing with the whole hotel situation, which is very difficult. We don't have a business class per se the way it used to be. So these hotels are scrambling, and oftentimes they seem to be drifting in. Certainly the lower ones that are more affordable for someone in that situation drifting into this criminal activity. And then we started this year off with the YWCA, which is a complete, the whole thing should be investigated over there. Billing yourself and taking funds and doing the things over there and saying you're supporting domestic violence victims is quite a bit of a stretch considering what's going on over there. And then State Street. And some of these people are friends. I mean, they'll come right out and tell you what's going on, and, with snap, crackle, pop as far as this burning. And this is the way to scam people. You don't feel well, you're not getting out as much, you start getting into debt, you start having problems, and that's part of the main thing. And then Main Street up in Broadalbin. I mean, right before the summer, how many times I was removed from my own homes, I was removed from my lake house, and I went back up there for the summer just be close to the lake and maybe walk to the launch, and of course they had to do it again within a month's time. And they worked together because usually a place like this, if you're not in the clique, and they'll tell you that right away, well, you don't get along with other people, why would I have to talk to a bunch of strange men right away? That's a red flag. So that's a red flag. And then this place here. So I wanted to give you some idea that there is an ongoing pattern here. And of course they'll say you're crazy. Okay. So I continue to post things onto my page, and I don't want to go over too much with this video, about the housing situation in Albany, and it's across the board in our communities. It was out in Syracuse. The housing is very expensive. When you go up around here and your skill set is, predominantly for the socioeconomic area, we don't have a lot here, but we certainly had some economical housing, 4 or 5 pages of housing when I was growing up. So we moved often. My mother thought it was funny. So, your skill set is relative to the place that you hail from. This is my home. I'm 60 years old. I'm not about, and I did try. I went to Maine, but of course housing up there is a problem. There's a large homeless population. Rents are extremely expensive. And here they're still affordable, but good luck finding one because we have less and less affordable housing. So I'm going to end it there and say housing is a problem across the board for a lot of communities, and certainly you can see it here in Albany, New York, which is also the case in my hometown of Amsterdam. So we'll continue to look for housing. I continue to apply to 3-4 of them a day, but predominantly in this range, they're scams, or they're just not places you want to live in anymore, and it's really unfortunate, and it's not personal. This is across the board in other communities, and certainly in this one, and it's pretty sad, and it's pretty shocking to see what's going on. Certainly when we move into this kind of harassment and this kind of torture towards people that haven't done anything wrong, but trying to find safe, affordable housing, pay their bills, get all this turned on. I had to wait a week to get power here. I lost $100 worth of groceries, and the scams just kept piling up. Be safe, guys.